If you know anything about the channel MTV, you probably remember Catfish, probably remember Teen Mom, but you most likely remember the channel for MTV's Ridiculousness, run by Rob Dyrdek. Today, we're going to take a very deep dive into Ridiculousness and all his other shows and see how the network came to be. Is brick mode reactions. We have been trying to do some brick mode reactions for a while now, and we just haven't gotten around to them. So what we're gonna do, because we got a couple of requests. One request is something I already watched, but I am very intrigued to watch it again because we were talking about it last night. How many of you love the show Ridiculousness? How many of you have watched over 700 episodes of Ridiculousness? How many of you have watched it all in one sitting? All right, so we're gonna watch this video from Patrick CC. Speaking of Patrick CC, he's actually going homeless. I'm kidding. He is doing a music producing studio for like small time music artists and creators and stuff like that. So if you make some music, drop it in the chat.
Rob Dyrdek was a professional skateboarder turned TV star that has had control over MTV for the past 15 years. 60% of the billion-dollar network is his show Ridiculousness, which sometimes is the only show that
Jesus. Look at, because all of this, just let's look at the schedule. Let's hide the cam. Let's hide the cam. So we got two movies at the very top. We got Bad Boys 2 and Identity Theft, right, on Monday and Tuesday. And then right after Identity Theft, if you're not, like if you're in for some drama, for some intrigue, Teen Mom OG. This is not the new gen Teen Mom. This is Teen Mom OG. All right. And then after that is, how long is Ridiculousness? Is that half an hour? So 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour. I think almost 6 hours of Ridiculousness is on before you can watch something else. Jesus Christ. Let's go into Wednesday, right? There's only one new program that's playing on Wednesday, The Challenge Double Agents. One new program, and that's for an hour. Do we not see anything wrong with that? Okay, we go to, I can turn my cam back on, hold on. We go to Jersey Shore Family Vacation to start the day. Okay, with a little Snooki, a little Pauly D, with a little Jay Wow and Vinny. I avid Jersey Shore watch over here. That's another rabbit hole I'm gonna get into. Revenge prank. I don't even know what the hell that is. And then another 10 hours of Ridiculousness before we get some more revenge prank. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Clear your fucking calendars. Clear your calendars because it is nonstop. It's not from, I guess, like 11 p.m., 11:30 p.m. all the way up to Sunday, 12 p.m. is Ridiculousness. How can they do it? How can they sustain a channel like that?
They air for multiple days without a break. However, this is not by some sort of dumb luck. Rob is a very savvy entrepreneur who has now sold multiple of his own businesses for a total of $450 million. He made some sleek business moves that made MTV depend on him for years. Once he realized they were at his mercy, he rinsed them for millions and used their platform to become the soon-to-be billionaire we know today.
She's mogging us.
Growing up in Dayton, Ohio in the 80s, there wasn't much to do but skateboard with your friends. Skateboarding wasn't a big business either. It was a hobby that a lot of kids did after school and on the weekends. There were competitions and skate teams, but nothing to really generate big-time money. Rob was a very talented young skater and dedicated all of his youth obsessing over it, hoping to one day...
I actually tried to get into skating. I tried to learn how to skate like 2 or 3 summers ago. I was able to like roll and like kick off and like have a pretty decent balance. My beater's showing. But like besides that, I wasn't able to like really get into it. Like I don't think I was doing it for like an hour or two. I don't think I was able to like ollie or anything by the end of that like hour. It felt like it though. But like the board is so like what you got to get used to is like the board is just constantly moving. So like it's definitely one of those type of things where like it'll become a sixth sense, like much like, you know, Tony Hawk as we see here. Wait, say that again. Wait, say that again. Anyway, so yeah, I think if I really got into it, I think I could be skateboarding. Give me until the end. Give me till August. I'll be skateboarding.
Go pro and somehow make a career of it. In 1990, 16-year-old Rob Dyrdek witnesses friends Chris Carter, Mike Hall,
You're
and
not
Jimmy
real?
G
What are you
invest
talking about?
$26,000 into creating Alien Workshop, a local skate brand that would put Ohio skaters on the map. He watched them build the company from the ground up. At the end of the 11th grade in 1991, Rob decided to skip his senior year and move to California to pursue a skating career after Alien Workshop offered him a $1,000 per month salary to be on the team. While he was out there, he represented Alien Workshop to give more presence to the brand in the skateboarding capital of the world. Although Rob was dedicated to his team, watching his friends build a company inspired him. He yearned for something similar. It only made sense to come up with something skateboard related, so he started Orion Trucks. This was the first company he built from idea to marketing product. The company still exists today. He's no longer a part of it, but it shows that his vision lasted 30 years. Skateboarding and becoming pro was still what his mind was fixated on. In 1995, he got sponsored by a company called Drawers Clothing, which would later become the iconic DC. Back then, skaters had Nikes and comfortable athletic shoes to do everyday things in, but for skating, they had flat, uncomfortable shoes. Rob spent countless nights in Pacific Beach, San Diego, designing a comfortable shoe for skaters. The Dyrdek 1 was born, and once it was released, it was a huge success.
How many pairs do y'all have of the Dyrdek ones? Imagine, like, I'm not saying these shoes are bad, but like, I don't know. The shoes I wear to skate, I'm about to show y'all. Give me a second. The shoes I wear to skate or wore to skate were simple little. I wore my dunks. These dunks, like, they're okay. You know, like, I don't wear them much outside of like, and I don't like the SB dunks because they like. I'm not a fan of like the big tongue. Like, I don't like that. So I don't wear these often. I'll sell these for $300. Ooh, my headphone den is gonna be insane today. By the way,
He was earning around $300,000 per year now just off shoes, making him an extremely successful 21-year-old, but not necessarily super famous and popular skateboarder yet. Rob started moving away from skating. He was starting all kinds of businesses, including a hip-hop record label called PJ's, but none of these would end up being as successful as his future endeavors.
Here we go.
Ken Block told Rob they weren't going to renew his sponsorship because they thought he had already peaked in skateboarding, and they offered him a job as a full-time shoe designer. Rob was hurt. He realized he abandoned his first passion. Now his own team didn't believe in him anymore. He was only 25. This lit a fire inside of him. His passion for skating was stronger than ever. He built his own private skateboarding facility called the TF in San Diego so he could practice 24/7, which was kind of the first fantasy factory. Every contest he entered in for the next few years, he placed top 10. He was skating at the highest level he ever had, so DC decided to keep him on the team and let him keep designing shoes. He structured a new deal with DC where he would pitch them as many shoe designs as he had. Whatever ones they wanted, he would get a 2% royalty on. His shoes averaged around $60, so he was getting about $1.20 per shoe. They liked the idea.
$1.20 per shoe. So say if he sold like $30,000 or 30,000 pairs of shoes, that's probably like high. That's $30,000, a bit over $30,000. Sorry, that conversion was pretty simple. It messed up my brain though. I might be a little dyslexic.
Had 35 shoes in the DC catalog he was getting paid.
35. So okay, so let's do that math. 35 shoes, and he gets $1.20 per shoe. Let's just say he gets 5,000. 5,000 times 30, 15, $150,000. 150 or 15. Wait. 30 shoes, $5,000. Add an extra zero. $15,000. Sorry, I have dyslexia. I should stop saying that on live. I don't. My sister got it though. I inherited it from her.
Needless to say, he was making hundreds of thousands, potentially seven figures from DC shoes. It was also around the late 90s and early 2000s where Rob created this image of flexing, luxury, and kind of living like a rapper, but for skating. Where skating at the time was this hesh, counterculture, and almost modest lifestyle. Like most skaters didn't have a brand. Their brand was, I'm a rad skater and that's it. Majority of the skate community thought Rob was a pompous prick, but he leaned in even more. December 2000, the cover of Big Brother magazine had Rob skating next to a Mercedes-Benz, woman in a swimsuit, and a real whole-ass cheetah. He was rocking iced out Rolexes. He had an iced out DC ring. Rob admits that it was a little over the top. However, he knew how powerful perception was. If he looked and acted like a hotshot, people would think that's who he was. 2000 to 2002, Rob was at the peak of his skateboarding career. He was 27 years old, already pretty rich, and focusing hard on competitions and video parts to keep his...
The key to great skin is exfoliating and moisturizing.
I was about to say that's Shang-Chi. That's not Shang-Chi. It took me a second to realize. That's crazy.
His relevance so he could sell more shoes. 2002 is where he met Christopher Big Black Boy.
Oh, here we
changed
go.
His life forever. DC was working on their first...
Don't even start. Don't start. Because if I put it side by side, those two men look similar, and it has nothing to do with their race. If that guy was black, he would still look like Shang-Chi. So don't even do that. All right? Jesus Christ. Stop Asian hate. Now, I'm going to hold my tongue because as soon as I start talking, as soon as I start speaking, I'm going to be the bad guy. Let me tell y'all, at my grandmother's house, right? And this is at G. I don't know if y'all know G. Yo, the back of my neck is like, ooh. So at my grandmother's house, right, I would sit and watch whatever like the older people were watching, and it would be like whatever was on MTV, and I was like 10 times out of 10 the youngest person there, so I literally had no say in what was going on the TV. So a majority of the time I would be watching a lot of adult programming. So one of those things that ended up being on all the time, and mind you, it's like 5, 6, 7 people in this one living room at my grandma's house, and I'm the only kid there, and I'm just trying to like, you know, have fun and be a child. You know, I was definitely less than 10, probably like 6, 7, 8, around those ages. And I would just be watching Robin Big and Ridiculousness and Fantasy Factory, and it was like, yo, like those shows were cool. Like, thank God they were cool. But like, I don't know, it turned into like an addiction. Me and Demar and Xavier talking about, yo, if you watch Ridiculousness too much, you're gonna get sucked into the show. I think that it happened. So yeah, and speaking of my grandma's house, it was just always a bunch of niggas there. Like, not niggas just men, just niggas, like, plural, non-binary, you know? Like, yo, it's just so many people here. And mind you, her house is small. Like, she didn't have the biggest house. And on top of that, her house was cluttered. And I didn't like that at all. Like, it was just always a fear of mine. And I'm gonna go into this, because maybe this can be used as a YouTube documentary clip, one day when I'm up. But like, I just didn't like my grandmother's house. I love my grandmother. Now we don't really talk much. But like, her house just always had something in it, and it scared me. I used to have like nightmares, like sleeping there, because I didn't want like no nothing crawling up on me in the middle of the night or something. That's a really big fear of mine. I think that's like part of the reason why I'm a light sleeper now. But yeah, because of that, I had this recurring dream. Even when I left my grandmother's house, when I was at my home, I had this recurring dream that the Joker was like infecting my whole family. And like, you had to get bitten by a bug, like a certain bug that was only like, it was only there at a certain time, and you would get like swirly eyes, like it'd be, your eyes would turn yellow, and then it'd be like red swirls in them. And I remember like being so afraid of like the Joker, and it got to a point where he was just talking to me like, yo, like, I know how afraid you are of me. You know, like, this isn't something you can just get rid of. And I was so scared. So I think eventually, like, it turned, like, okay, so my brain, the way it worked, it was like I remember, like, how my dreams would start. Like, I would, like, gradually, like, take myself to sleep, when I was younger. And then, like, I just vividly remember, like, where the dream was starting. And it had, maybe because I was playing games so much as a kid, like, the dreams always had, like, a start menu. So, like, it'd be me on one side. I wish I could illustrate this. It'd be me. Hold on, let me go to cam. It'd be me on one side, standing right here. And it'd be, like, a group of my infected and family members with Joker standing in the middle. And we're just staring at each other. Kind of like, let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find a picture of it. It's like, it's such a popular art. It's like the heroes versus, y'all know what I'm talking about. I'll find it in post or something. I did find this though. I did find this in case anybody. That is actually going as my Discord picture. That is amazing. But yeah. I remember the conclusion of that like dream series, and it was like a jester, like a Jack in the Box, and he was trying to kill me. And right before he like killed me, I woke up, and I never had that recurring nightmare again. So, yeah, we're talking about Fantasy Factory. Jesus Christ.
First major skate video set to release in 2003, and they were going to go on a countrywide tour to promote the video. Rob knew he wasn't as good of a skater as the others on the team, so he had to think out of the box to make his part memorable and valuable to the video. He came up with a skit. The concept was Rob was fed up with security and cops kicking him out of skate spots while he was trying to film for his part. He decided he was going to hire a private security guard to deal with other security guards. He went to the first security company he could find, City Events in Pacific Beach, and asked them for the biggest but friendliest guy they had. Immediately, the owner thought of somebody perfect for the position, and that was Christopher Big Black Boykin.
I have many different things I do as far as during that security. Make sure Rob skates. My job is to do the dirty work.
The reactions of security guards were hilarious because they would come out ready to fight and bully Rob.
Yo, why would he do that? Why would he? Why would he do that? Did you guys see that? Because mind you, this guy, like, he's a real security guard, right? But like, what do you do in that situation? You're a security guard and you get pushed by another security guard that's hired by somebody else. What's the protocol? Yo.
The reactions of security guards were hilarious. They come out ready to fight.
Yo.
Rob. Then when Big pulled up, they got all soft and
gosh.
scared. They created a genius gimmick that really resonated with the skate community because everyone could relate to it. It also helped that Big Black was a funny, charismatic guy that had a lot of chemistry with Rob. After the first day of working together, they would become friends, which would last a lifetime. Rob and Big Black were inseparable. They were now doing everything together. One thing I should mention is that Big already had a very successful security business of his own for about 10 years at this point. He wasn't just relying on Rob for money. Part of Rob's celebrity baller image now included having a private security guard, again, making him seem way more important than he technically was at the time. In the spring of 2004, DC paid for Rob to participate in the Gumball 3000. This is a 7-day-long, 3,000-mile race across Europe on public roads with big parties every night that started in 1999 as a showcase for
Gosh, I wouldn't want to experience something like this, but like after like the first hour or two, I wouldn't want to do this. Like, how do they change clothes? Where do they shower? What do they like? Who's paying for the food? What's going on? You know, like I would quickly get overwhelmed by what's going on. I don't think I would like this.
cars, fashion, and the entertainment industry. Celebrities of all kinds participate in the event, so of course, Rob has to do what all the celebrities are doing. A young movie producer named Ruben Fleischer was making a documentary about the event. He reached out to as many celebrities as he could to film their experiences. On his journey, he ran into Rob and Big Black. Their chemistry was great together, and he knew he needed to document it. Gumball 3000, 6 Days in May, was the documentary that was made by Ruben Fleischer. Rob and Big Black's involvement in the film consisted of Rob bringing that exciting and fun energy, while Big Black complements his smooth, charismatic humor. Two very unlikely best friends driving across Europe. Rob was driving recklessly, Chris mooning other drivers out the window, dodging police officers. Their part of
Was
the
that
film
his
feels like an
ass
episode of Rob
cheeks?
Big. During this trip, Ruben said to them, y'all should consider doing a TV show together, but they didn't think it was a good idea. By the way, make sure you're drinking water while you're watching this video. Ruben had a job back in Hollywood, so he was a little bit connected.
Patrick?
He showed the Gumball 3000 film to Jeff Tremaine, who had worked for Big Brother magazine in the 90s, sold Jackass and Wild Boys to MTV, while also keeping his presence in the skateboard world. He was familiar with Rob, he was familiar with his DC part with Big, and he loved their energy in the Gumball film. Ruben said, we should come up with an idea for a TV show, and Jeff thought, why didn't I think of that? Again, Rob was reluctant to try to come up with a TV show because of his other business endeavors, but he isn't the type to turn down an opportunity. He took the idea for Rob and Big Black, which was the original name of the show, to MTV, and they hated it. It was supposed to be a silly buddy comedy about two unlikely best friends. At this time, MTV wanted scripted reality TV that they can control and manufacture to guarantee success.
Do y'all like reality TV? Like I said, I like Jersey Shore, not because like I enjoy reality television. I just like find it fascinating. Like it's like a zoo experiment to me. Like these people are actually real life human beings that I'm inhabiting the world with. It's so interesting, so intriguing. It's like you guys are all dumb. You guys are all stupid morons. But it's so back at Diamond One. Here we go. He shout out to him, y'all. But it's like, yo, I would never want to be on a reality TV show because I would do my absolute best to troll. And say if I'm in the shower or something, and they like when you think about it, when you think about reality TV, like they're just filming stuff. So it's so much footage, so many hours of footage of people's dick and balls in private genital areas on like whatever hard drives, and people are just okay with that. Like people just have to sign off on that. Like, oh, we're gonna record you butt ass naked, and you don't like you can't do anything about that. Like that's why I think that's what you think of. Okay, like cause hear me out. When Kai Cenat was doing, I saw a clip of this on Reels. When Kai Cenat was doing his subathon, I think it was SZA and Lizzo. They're like, yo, Kai Cenat hasn't washed his balls or ass crack in however many days he was streaming. And SZA was like, for real? Shout out to SZA. Oh my gosh, I need her. I need SZA. I love you, SZA. If you're watching this, I love you. He was like, yeah, I just, like, he pulls his pants up, scrubs, and then like you get what I'm saying. But it's like, why even go through that? That's like such an uncomfortable experience. Like, and then people are watching that too. Like, people are watching Kai Cenat take a fucking shower. That is so weird and so parasocial. Like, I would never want to see Scott DeWaz take a shower. I would never want to see Scott DeWaz with his shirt off. That's weird. That's weird, buddy. Kai Cenat ball cam is what he says. Kai Cenat ball cam. What the hell is wrong with this guy? But yeah, like, I don't like the idea of reality television is cool, and there's probably like so many like hours of footage that like you can make a completely whole new show out of, and it's just like I said, I'm repeating myself and talking in circles. It's just so interesting to see like, yo, these people are actually stupid.
Instead, they came up with a show called Rob Dyrdek's Rules for Success. The first rule of success is always keep a good guy around you like Big Black. It was supposed to be a positive and motivational show that would have failed miserably. While filming the first episode, Big Black went off script and started telling Rob that he could beat him in a foot race. The hilarious conversation and eventual foot race down the street ended up being the most entertaining part of the episode. After MTV saw this, they decided, okay, no more scripts. Just be yourselves, be funny, we trust you. This eventually came down to MTV agreeing on Rob's original vision for the show. You'll notice this is the first time MTV kind of gave up a little bit of power and control to Rob, which would become a reoccurring theme throughout their relationship. Before the show came out on MTV, Rob knew he had a huge opportunity to level up his business ventures. Bam Margera's MTV show Viva La Bam was super popular along with Jackass, and he was selling merchandise and Bam branded products like crazy because of the platform that he had. He was selling triple the amount of skateboards per month than Tony Hawk. Rob, also being from the skateboard world, had been studying what Bam was doing for many years. He knew that if his show took off, he needed to be ready to capitalize in the right way. So Rob restructured his business deals to take lower upfront pay and have higher percentage royalties.
So I did a deal with DC, renegotiated for a higher royalty. I restructured my board deal with Alien Workshop to be like, give me $5 a board and give me $2,000 a month instead of $2 a board and $5,000 a month. Like
Robin Big, Season 1, Episode 1 launches November 2nd, 2006 and takes off immediately. Each episode premiered to 4 or 5 million viewers. The two unlikely best friends were funny, full of energy. Really,
that's a lot. You know, like, I know, especially like with like how like accessible TikTok numbers are and YouTube numbers are, but like that's a lot of people on TV just like tuned in to watch, because you have to realize like people have to like see it on a certain time. It's not like, okay, 4 million people viewed this YouTube video over like 8 months. No, 4 million people were live watching these niggas play around. That's insane. That is a lot of people, a lot of money.
So lovable. When you watched it, you just understood. Rob would come up with the most random ideas for skits, and Big would go along with whatever, like buying a mini horse so their dog has a friend, or starting an R&B group, or trying time travel. The chemistry and bond created on TV was almost like you were a part of their family. With this big platform now, Rob went from a well-known skateboarder to a full-blown mainstream pop culture celebrity.
I don't think I watched Rob and Big much. Like I said, I used to watch a lot of Fantasy Factory, and I remember there was like a lot of people on that show. It was the dude who had like the Young Reckless brand, and I think he had like a cousin or something, or brother. I think Chanel West Coast was on there, and I forget.
Deal with DC.
That's all I remember.
Royalty on Stan Smith.
And I remember their facility was so cool looking. Like, I always wanted to visit it because it was just like, wow. Like, you get to work in a place like this. You can just come out and skateboard. It wasn't even like oh, it's a skater's heaven, because I wasn't into skateboarding like that. It was just a matter of like, whoa, that's just such a cool space, you know? I think they had like a foam pit or something like that too, or slides. I might be imagining that. I think that might be what's that? Big Time Rush
style shoe that would end up selling millions of dollars. Rogue Status was the gun shirt that he wore all the time. That did about $8 million in sales. DC as a whole went from an $80 million company to a $500 million company in just a few years, with Rob wearing their gear all over TV. MTV was paying him $35,000 per episode. That jumped up to $60,000 per episode for the last season, which would total $1.4 million.
Oh my gosh, that is so much money. But imagine, like, he's already had like so he had the trucks. He had that company going. And then on top of that, the shoes, he was probably already making a shit ton of money from the shoes. And he made $1 million just from playing. Oh my, he was the original YouTuber, guys.
All 3 seasons. The baller lifestyle he manifested for all those years, he was now 100% living it. Unfortunately, behind the scenes, everything wasn't as great as it seemed. After the first 2 seasons, Big wasn't having much fun anymore. They were filming 13 hours a day for months. In the beginning, he loved it because it was organic, fun, off the cuff, and truly just 2 guys having a blast. They never actually lived together, by the way. Big had a separate house. His room in Rob's house was just for the plot on TV. For season 3,
Pinkies up, then bacon the...
They kept on, yo, I saw an ad earlier. They kept on using Baconator as a slur. They kept on censoring it.
MTV brought in writers, made them film 15 episodes, which was double from the previous seasons, and it started to feel too Hollywood for Big. The show was called Rob and Big, but he felt more like a sidekick. Also, Chris says that Rob was being paid double what he was. Rob denies that. However, Rob was working 24/7 writing ideas for the show and guiding the production, where Big admits that he just showed up, brought the funny, and left. We're not sure what the facts are, but I wouldn't be surprised if Rob was being paid more. On top of that,
oh my gosh. Hold on. Like, I wouldn't even be mad if like I'm looking at his ass crack. Like, if Rob was doing all that, if he was doing so much to make sure the show kept on going, like, would you really be mad at that? You know, like, if he's getting paid double, especially because, like, I get it, like, you're both, like, the front cover of it, so it's like, okay, you should be paid evenly. But at the end of the day, it's like, how much work is really being separated between you two, you know? Okay, let me unpause it. Oh my god.
He was very unhealthy at 430 pounds. Him and Rob were constantly disagreeing on creative ideas, which led to multiple blowout arguments, and he had a new baby on the way. Big decided he was done with
it's nobody!
after season 3. He moved to Texas with his family, got his eating habits and mental health right, and reaped the rewards of his hard work. Him and Rob's downfall was relatively private. Rob never disrespected him publicly, but they didn't communicate with each other for a few years after this. Rob was ready to give up on TV as well. In 2008, MTV begged for season 4 of Rob and Big. They offered $125,000 per episode, or they're going to come up with a new show. But the new show had to be a reality show. He always said he didn't want to be the old guy on TV. At this point, he was 34 years old, but the ratings were so high still, and he knew the network was desperate. He wanted a much better deal for his new shows. He wrote the idea for Fantasy Factory in one weekend. Rob was going to transform a 25,000 square foot warehouse into an indoor skate park and adult playground, but the other half of the warehouse would be dedicated to his employees and business partners who are doing day-to-day operations running the Deer Deck enterprise. The episodes would be structured where Rob would talk about a business he's starting or investing in, then the other 75% of the show would be him messing around, skateboarding.
Oh my gosh, I was right. It was a phone
keeping the energy
pit.
fun and lighthearted. MTV.
Oh my gosh, like, imagine.
He also sold them ridiculousness at this time.
Here we go. Oh my gosh, this is what I came for. Rob Dyrdek's ridiculousness. Oh my gosh, let's watch like 8 episodes on stream back to back to back. What if somebody does that? Because ridiculousness has just as many episodes as One Piece at this point, right? Which one would somebody be able to watch faster? Which one would cause somebody's brain to shut off the quickest? Because it gets to a certain point, crazy copyright. What are you talking about? You're talking about the ridiculousness marathon that's happening right after this video. Like, I would think, like, yo, after like the first season and a half, because like you have to think about how dated that video, the videos that he's watching are by the time like you get around to watching it. You know, it's like, yo, these videos are like 20 years old. This guy's like 50.
Which wouldn't come out for 3 years and would then become 60% of what MTV plays for a decade, but we'll get to that. He demanded one major stipulation before he signed off on Fantasy Factory. He owned his integration rights. Any of his businesses that he owned could be advertised and promoted on the show in any way that he...
I remember, do you guys remember Wall Grinders? Those were his friends. This was supposed to be like his childhood. I know his black friend was JJ. I believe the purple one, not the one that's next to him. The purple one was like Emo Chris or something. I don't know. That one was my favorite, but looking back, I don't think Emo Chris was my favorite. Wild Grinders was a cool show. I remember liking it a lot when I was younger. Yo, what's up, Fart? Shout out to Fart, y'all. Do you remember Wild Grinders? Hold on. Emo Chris. Not Emo Chris. Oh, okay. So we got Emo Chris Griffin. This is the first image. That's not what we're looking. Bazinga, father. That's the first thing. But Emo Chris from Wild Grinders. Oh hell no. Okay, don't it. No. But I liked this show a lot. Like, I made sure I was watching it. And his friend Goggles, and he had the dog that was based off his real life dog. I think, I'm pretty sure.
Wanted, and MTV was not allowed to interfere, because if you didn't know, any product or brand you see displayed on show or in a movie is paid for by those brands. So MTV could not say no to Rob promoting a business that he owned on the show. But when it came to big corporate sponsorships or outside entities, they were 50-50.
This show's ugly. Like, damn,
50-50, neither Rob nor MTV had more power. So Rob took it upon himself to draw up these intricate brand integrations with brands like Chevy, Microsoft, and Monster, and he did all the negotiations by himself. So MTV just sat back and said, wow, keep doing that since you're doing all the work for us. Meanwhile, he was making additional deals on the side with these brands for his own companies like Street League, Wild Grinders, and other new ventures. For example, I'm sure some of y'all remember this episode where he dresses up as the Carl's Jr. mascot and does stunts around the factory. This is literally a giant ad, but you might also remember that Rob wanted to open legal skate parks around the country. Safe Spot, Skate Spot is what he called them. At the first one, a giant Carl's Jr. star that kids would skate on. This is an example of how Rob would go to a corporate sponsor and say, hey, we'll do this integration on MTV for you, but I also want you to contribute to my personal project. So Carl's Jr. paid for the construction of the skate park. Then he did basically the same exact deal on another park with 7-Eleven. You can see now how Rob was developing a lot of
I don't like
control
this
over
image.
MTV,
I don't like how he
to go
did
the
that.
extra mile to set the terms of his next show, write all the ideas and creative plans for the show, as well as control the negotiations with brands and sponsors that would be integrated on the show. And on top of all of this, he was being paid $100,000 per episode. He was starting to treat MTV like his own private production house, and Fantasy Factory was just a commercial for all of his new business.
Like, imagine, like, he's doing all these negotiations, he's getting all these brand deals, he's getting all these endorsements, and he's just getting MTV to make the show for him. So imagine how much work he's actually doing, and then the work that he's doing on the show is just telling people, hey, I want you to contribute to my project. I can get your brand out there. He's doing literally everything in plain sight, and MTV has nothing to do about it because he's the moneymaker. Like, he's literally generating all this money just for him to take it back personally. You know? Damn, this guy's smart. Let him run my YouTube channel, y'all. Actually, no, it's gonna be 400 episodes of what's my most popular video? The Dragon Ball ranking video, just in different orders. Nobody used that exploit.
February 8th, Fantasy Factory Season 1, Episode 1. And as expected, it was a hit. Millions of viewers, not to the level of Rob and Big. The fans definitely missed it, but Rob knew just the thing that would keep people interested. Stunts and celebrities. Rob became a stuntman to fill the void of not having Big's comedic presence. Drama, his cousin, wasn't cutting it. And who doesn't love a good
I remember him.
Johnny Knoxville, Lamar Odom, Justin Bieber, Carmelo Anthony, Ludacris were among some of the people who came to the factory. There are so many businesses that...
Oh my gosh, like, just... I need to be there. Oh my gosh, I just looking at it, like, even now, like, aesthetically, like, yo, this just looks like a cool place. Like, yo, take me there.
Rob started or promoted on the show. Clothing companies, restaurants, a credit card for teens, a fragrance, workout products, and even charities. But the two biggest ones were Wild Grinders, which was his toy line and eventual animated series about his life as a child, which would go on to release on Nickelodeon, and Street League Skating, which would go on to be a globally recognized skate competition event on the same level as X Games and Dew Tour. You could also throw in his cousin Drama's brand Young and Reckless, which he helped get off the ground. In 2011, Big Black makes his debut appearance on Fantasy Factory. The beef was squashed, and the duo were together again. They continued the vibe of the Rob and Big days, but now they had a playground and more money. Ratings doubled when Big came back. It was like a whole new show. Speaking of whole new show, Ridiculousness premieres August of 2011 to 3.
Here we go. Here we go.
Episode they ever had. It was essentially America's Funniest Home Videos, but Rob's version. Him commentating on viral videos with a celebrity guest or his...
Oh my gosh. Y'all, let me tell y'all something. This woman on the right, this is not a flattering stop. I didn't do a flattering stop. I used to love Chanel West Coast. Oh my gosh, talk about milk. Now, like, if you look at her Instagram now, like, she has a child now. Ain't nothing wrong with that, of course. Like, she she's not as attractive as I thought she was as a kid. Not saying she isn't pretty, right? Shout out to Chanel West Coast, but she oh my gosh, she's cookies, y'all. She grits.
Co-hosts Chanel West Coast and Steel Brim. So now he had two hit shows on
And
MTV.
DeMar was saying the black dude wasn't there. He was always there. Like, he was there since day one. And they're both still there. They're both just recording ridiculousness. Day in, day out. What pentagram seal, what contract does Rob Dyrdek have over these two where he's just constantly, like, oh my gosh, they're just constantly pumping out ridiculousness. Either that or these people aren't real. These people aren't real.
Paying him 6 figures per episode on both. In fact, he was making a higher salary on Ridiculousness because the show was so inexpensive to make. There have been a few different numbers thrown out there, but it seems like $140,000 per episode is accurate. They filmed Fantasy Factory.
Exactly, like, imagine, like, these shows aren't, like, super high production value, like, shows, you know? Like, you're basically just filming Rob Dyrdek throughout his day. I feel like I can make an episode. Chanel left? What? Rest up the realist. I feel like I can make an episode of Fantasy Factory or ridiculousness is just slop content. What I'm doing now is what ridiculousness is. Just they're reacting to TikToks. listen. I got a business venture. I got a business venture, and anybody wants to come and do this too, y'all can join in. Y'all just have to sign your rights away to me. I need to get some lotion. Fantasy Factory 2 with rants, with absurdness, the funny home video reaction TV show. And we don't even have to be on MTV. We can be on MTV too. Let's get it done. Let's get it happening, guys. And somebody find a girl that is willing to go on this show and make lots of money. That's willing to do this with us. Let's do this, guys. Let's do this. Speaking of lotion, let me get that right now. I'm gonna play the video.
For 2 more years, 3 seasons.
Look,
the ratings
Hassan
were still
stream,
great.
Hassan
Rob wanted to
Piker
end the show with a
stream.
bang. The end of season 6 included him breaking the world record
Hassan
for the longest
Piker
jump in a
stream.
car while going
Let me
backwards,
see.
which was the second massive Chevy sponsor deal he orchestrated. The first one was kickflipping a Chevy car. The last episode, which was the 65th episode, was a 1-hour special. It was epic and the perfect way to end the series. Ridiculousness was about to enter the last contractual season, which at that point was the 95th episode. Rob wanted to end the show and move on with his life. He had made roughly $20 million just on TV shows alone, not to mention the plethora of successful businesses that he had started. No more Fantasy Factory, no more ridiculousness, no more TV.
I just came around to say hello. Hello, Moto.
Hello, Moto.
Booking.com has
Now my fingers are all
But MTV begged
Greasy.
him again. The ratings were still pretty high, and MTV as a whole was struggling. They didn't have any other big shows. Jersey Shore was over. Every reality show they started failed after 1 season. And this was slightly before Catfish and Teen Mom 2, which would go on to have success.
Catfish is so interesting too. Like, even I'm not really, searching for anybody anymore, because, I'm focusing on myself, focusing on my YouTube career, focusing on my dreams, focusing on getting a license, focusing on the bag, focusing on the pape, focusing on the munion. But like, that's a really, really, really big fear of mine. Also the concept of STIs. Those are very, very like, like anybody could be a catfish, anybody could have any sort of infection. Creeps me out, gives me the heebie-jeebies. Oh my gosh. Especially like the people who are like dumb about it, because like I feel like whenever I'm talking to a new person, like I always try to like do my due diligence so I'm not letting anything shady happening to me, because that would suck. Imagine, oh my gosh, I thought somebody of my past, not gonna bring her up, but I thought she was a catfish, and turns out that she wasn't, thank God. But her pictures are a lot more flattering than she was in real life. Like, she just knew how to take really, really good pictures. What? That's crazy.
He had done all the creative writing, brand integrations, and even some of the production on the show. How could they let someone go that does all the work for them? He was their last hope. Rob did not want to be 40 years old on TV. Plus, the warehouse had been incredibly expensive over the years as well. He said that he wasn't profiting off the show alone because it cost about $5 million per year to upkeep the factory. He said the MTV deal would have to be so much money that he would be stupid not to do it. They didn't want him to walk away from ridiculousness because that show was a powerhouse 24/7. No matter what time they aired it, people watched. So the premieres weren't that poppin', but they would play repeats of literally any episode, and viewers would stay watching. Probably because when it's 2 a.m., you don't have any brain capacity to focus on it, so it's the perfect show. And you aren't
Exactly. Like, it's just like, you turn it on and then boom. Like, you don't have to keep up with anything. You don't have to memorize anything. You don't have to, know any characters besides Rob Dyrdek. And it's like, man, people are just gonna watch people watch this in like barbershops, or put it on a Walmart or something on the TVs and just have it playing. Damn. When can I have my ridiculousness moment?
following a storyline, so it doesn't matter what episode or what season it is. Rob, again knowing MTV is at his mercy, organized one big deal for the last season of Fantasy Factory and 140 new episodes of Ridiculousness, which would bring him to season 10 of 2017. He said that this was the biggest financial deal of his entire career up until this point, which we don't know how much it was, but we can speculate. This deal also included that Rob's production company, Super Jacket, would be producing Ridiculousness and the final season of Fantasy Factory. So now MTV wasn't even producing the content, not filming, not editing. It was all Rob's businesses that he owned. We can also assume that because he was producing the show, that his company now received a % ownership of the show. Like, he isn't just an actor anymore, he's getting those royalties, baby. Literally, MTV was like YouTube to Rob. Here's my show. Upload it.
Literally.
He got through the last season of Fantasy Factory despite not wanting to do it. Ratings were kind of low, but the show was officially over in 2015. Unfortunately, 2 years later, we got the sad news that Christopher Big Black Boykin had passed away at age 45 of a heart attack in Plano, Texas. He is survived by a now 14-year-old daughter. Rest in peace, Big Black. At this point in 2017, Ridiculousness was only premiering to about 300,000 people or so, compared to millions in 2012. But like we said, play it any time, any day, the audience loves it. So the ratings are still technically very high. Season 10...
Imagine, it's probably only like boomers watching shows like this. you know? Like, I don't, because with stuff like TikTok, like, who realistically our age is still watching ridiculousness? Rob Dyrdek is an old ass man, especially in internet time. He's like 100, right? But props to him for getting his bag. But something that I realized is that the only people who really watch TV, are old people. That whole audience at 300,000 that he just mentioned, all old people. And I know this because I go downstairs sometimes, and I'll see my parents, especially on like maybe like a Saturday or like a good day off or like a break or something. Like, my parents will just be like sitting around watching TV, and they'll have on either Hell's Kitchen, World's Dumbest. Do y'all know that show on True TV? It's basically just this, but it's like a bunch of comedians talking about one show or one like set of clips, and they're all just like commenting. Like, it's like little slop content for old people. And then Wallin' Out. My parents love Wallin' Out. I think it's the most cringe thing in the world. Like, in concept, like, I think Wallin' Out as a TV show is just kind of cringe. Like, I don't think it's funny at all. And I think a lot of those people, and I told my mom this one day, like, a lot of these people that like show up as famous on that show, like, who aren't like real A-list celebrities, are like world star adjacent people. Like, you know, that kind of famous person. Like, they do Instagram skits, and then they have the hashtag sponsored by Fashion Nova partner in their post. I despise those people because none of them are funny. And then most of them will have an ad for like OnlyFans models, and it's like, yo, why? Ridiculousness is A of V for millennia. I used to like that show. I used to like America's Funniest Home Videos. But wasn't there like, I don't know. I feel like there was an appeal for watching A of V over ridiculousness. This was just like, oh, you want like slightly more raunchy videos, like people getting hit in the balls rather than, oh, the dog ate the icing off the cake. You get what I'm saying? Like, it was that distinction. Like, it was a lot funnier, and more family friendly, family oriented. I think that's why I like AFV more. But yeah, like, I never liked Wallin' Out. It sucks. Shout out to Nick Cannon. Shout out to all of his children. Shout out to all his baby moms. One of his baby moms want to talk to me. Come on. Only the pretty ones. Actually, all of them. Yeah.
Ends of ridiculousness, but Rob has already gotten over the fact that he's the old guy on TV now, so he sets up for another renewal. And of course, MTV is going to take it because TV is at an all-time low, and MTV is going down with it. 250 more episodes and a new spin-off. Amazingness. Basically, just a talent show.
Amazingness. Amazing. This is what he was talking. I saw this. The reason why we're watching this video, Damar, he was like, yo, I just wanted to see how many ridiculousness episodes. And I looked at the message, and I didn't see that he was talking about ridiculousness. I saw awesomeness. Awesomeness. And I'm like, yo, what the hell is this guy talking about? Amazingness. And there's another one, adorableness. You see? Like, this is not real. Leftover on nigga. But yeah, like, this is crazy. Like, he is
very unsuccessful after just 7 episodes. Besides the TV show, Rob is a recluse now. He doesn't party with celebrities. He isn't doing commercials or brand deals. He's a full-blown entrepreneur building the Dyrdek Machine, which is his company that builds other businesses with the goal of selling them.
The Dyrdek Machine is a venture creation studio. We are a business that creates businesses
a nice sounding
by
mic.
systematically.
I know that's not
fusing
his,
art,
but like, I want a mic like
magic.
that.
He's now growing Street League, investing in whiskey, investing in VR technology, starting a protein brand.
Sound it out, okay, because I'm going to shoot this guy. Let me get some oats.
Brand, building a family with his wife and first child, and stacking his money. Basically, since 2018, ridiculousness is the only thing that MTV plays.
Jesus Christ. And the only thing on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, you get something else. And then on Thursday, first of all, you get a shit ton of catfish. Second, it's just all Twilight. All Twilight. Who wants to watch that? You're better off just turning off the TV and watching the black screen at this point.
sometimes for multiple days straight with no breaks. Rob is 60% of the network.
And at the end, did y'all see that? At the end of that day, it was ridiculousness on Thursday.
We'll start out the show with, "Hi, my name is Rob Dyrdek, and welcome back to my network, MTV." By 2020, Rob made the next biggest financial deal of his life. He sold his production company, Superjacket, who had been producing Ridiculousness and a number of other shows for the past 7 years.
Oh my gosh. The Dude Perfect Show. Did y'all know he was a part of the Dude Perfect Show? And oh my gosh, look at the woman next to my face. She is so beautiful. She's very beautiful. I want her. And then look at the Asian man's mid is so funny. Like, what is he wearing? Oh my gosh, that's funny. That's funny, y'all. But like, this is. Do you think he's the panda? Do you think he's the panda? Panda, 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 mango, 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 mango. Those who know, mango, 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 mango.
Years. But the stipulation with the venture capitalists was that they also had to purchase Street League Skating. Thrill One Sports and Entertainment bought Rob out of both businesses for $150 million.
Oh my gosh.
Both of these businesses he funded with the money that MTV was paying him while growing and advertising on MTV's networks where millions of people were watching him every day. MTV wasn't a partner or an investor in any of his businesses that he promoted and grew on their platform. But Rob was a part owner of the show that they put on their platform. He announced another 250 episode renewal of Ridiculousness in 2020 in which he would be fully done and ready to walk away forever. If Rob's salary of $140,000 per episode since 2011 stayed the same over the past decade, with Ridiculousness having 819 episodes to date, means he would.
Oh my gosh! Like this video came out 3 years ago, so we're close to the end of Rob Dyrdek's Ridiculousness. This show started, mind you. This show started before. No, this show started after One Piece. Has caught up to it in episodes, and is set to end after or before One Piece ends. I can't make it up. I can't make it up.
Earned $114,660,000 just from that show.
My
Maybe he
gosh.
took a lower salary once his company started producing it, since now he was getting ownership royalties, but I guess we don't know. Rob today is almost unrecognizable to the man he used to be. Now 47 years old, he's a zen, calm, collected entrepreneur who is on his way to becoming a billionaire. And it's all because he got to call the shots at a multi-billion-dollar TV network for
Oh my gosh, how MTV destroyed their network. Sorry, I'm dyslexic. We just watched the video on how they destroyed the network. Jesus, oh my gosh, Rob Dyrdek, if you're watching this, let me hold something. Let me get a hold. Let me get a couple dollars. All right. Oh my gosh.